Hello, welcome to Tarot Concertina. This reading is for the Virgo collective for the month of July 2025. And I have here your card, the Hermit. This is from a 1960s deck called the Linweave Tarot. And it's the same artist. One of the artists featured in the deck is David Palladini, who did the Aquarian Tarot, which I will be using for the rest of the reading. Today we'll be looking briefly at love or relationships in your life, and then we'll switch over and look at career and whatever projects you have going on. First, I wanted to share a couple of downloads I got while meditating on the Virgo energy before turning on the video. And I attempted to do some water scrying in this vintage glass of water. So the first thing I saw was the number 6. Number 6 could be important to you, or the month of June. And then I also saw an arrow pointing this way. And then I imagined a flight or a trajectory of some kind headed east or northeast. And then I saw what looked like almost a Picasso painting of a woman, and she was holding her belly, which might indicate pregnancy for some of you, or some kind of connection to abstraction or cubism. Take your pick. So those are the messages. And I will now turn to the love or relationship portion of this video. So let's dive into the relationship portion of this reading. This is good for if you're in a relationship or not. It's just seeing the general overview of love in your life for the month of July. I've already shuffled these many times, but I'll do a few more as I tune into the Virgo energy. I just got the sensation and a visual of my pupils dilating, and I'm remembering that when our pupils dilate, it's to absorb more of the light. And it's also something that happens when we see something we like or are attracted to. So I'm getting the feeling either you or someone connected to you is very captivated and attracted and sees a lot of beauty in you. Or it could be reversed, you seeing something you like. Okay, let's break the deck. See what cards we have. Ace of Pentacles in reverse, King of Swords in reverse, 6 of Wands in reverse. So far, all 3 signs I've read have had 6 of Wands in reverse, so you're not alone. 10 of Wands in reverse, 3 of Wands in upright, and the Hermit in reverse. I think Leo also had that. So if you're on kind of in between the time of Leo and Virgo, you might want to also check out Leo's reading, or if you have Leo in your chart. So the dominant energy of this reading is the suit of Wands, and that's associated with the element of fire, which is all about passion and creativity. And since 2 of these are in reverse, you might be feeling a little overwhelmed or kind of drained, like your fire might be a little snuffed out at this time. But 3 of Wands upright is an optimistic card. I see it as you've already made a decision to go after something, and you've already started crossing that bridge toward the direction of your passion. it looks like you are deciding against a particular path in favor of another one. There's something that looks like it's too challenging, it's too much work to I would never call somebody else a burden, but you might feel like the task you're taking on with a certain relationship in July, again, it doesn't have to be romantic, but it could be. It's just too much work. Like you're trying to carry all these wands, but in the reverse, it's like deciding to put them down. And I feel like with the Hermit here and the Ten of Wands, like you've already been through quite a lot. You've been through relationships or difficult situations, and it's time, like at this point in your life journey, at your degree of wisdom, you know better than to take on this relationship or whatever this Ace of Pentacles is. You're like, I know better than to accept this ace, because you kind of have your eye on something else. It looks like you're already moving some other direction. And then we have the Hermit in reverse, which Hermit is your power card, as we discussed at the opening. Here in the reversal, it's showing a need for more, even deeper reflection that you might be a little resistant to. I did mention earlier, age might be a consideration. I'm just noticing on this card, my eyes went to the 1970 little watermark here, trademark. And I'm not saying 1970, or if you're born in the 70s or earlier, is old at all, but Hermit reverse can sometimes speak to feeling your age. And with your degree of experience, you're using that information to make a choice about a relationship. And it looks like you're going to keep looking. It could also mean you prefer to be alone at this time. So I'm going to get some clarification from another deck. What else can we know about relationships for Virgo in July? Ace of Wands, Two of Swords, King of Swords, double King of Swords in reverse, and Justice in reverse. I like that the Ace of Wands is here. It's showing a positive spin on that fire we saw. It's all about following your inspiration. It looks like you have a very strong idea of who you are and what qualities a partner would have to have in order for you to embrace that relationship. It looks like you're holding off. I'm not accusing you of anything, but there's a degree of stubbornness here, telling yourself you can't see a way forward toward this idea or concept you have of a relationship. It could also be a decision you're having a difficult time making that's influenced by this Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is interpreted sometimes as a passionate new beginning. I always think of it as a creative spark, though. You might be looking for somebody who sparks your creativity, curiosity in the world. I think you're looking for your equal, and with the Justice card in reverse here, you're telling me you have not found your equal, you haven't found your match yet. You seem like you have very high standards, which I approve of. I think everyone should have high standards. But there is, it's not that you're not open, because we do have Ace of Wands here in the upright. You're just like, not yet, not at this time. I wanted to pause and take a closer look at this double King of Swords in reverse. I'm a little concerned just because in reverse, this could be somebody very harsh with their words. And if there's two of them, it's either ×2 or there are two people in a relationship who kind of attack each other possibly, or use some kind of mind games, even manipulation tactics. And I just need some clarity. Or is it just stubbornness about moving forward? Or it could just be disagreement over something that's leading to this like not feeling like things are fair, something along those lines. So I want to pull a few more cards to clarify. King of Swords in reverse, please. Why is it here twice? 9 of Cups. So we're talking about our sense of personal satisfaction, what brings us wish fulfillment. Okay. Let me get a couple more. The Lovers. Seven of Cups in reverse. Okay. So if this is clarifying 2 Kings of Swords in reverse, it looks like there's a dream here of finding your soulmate or counterpart in some way, but there's something about options, exploring your options. I'm still really not sure what this is about. Gonna get some oracle cards. I don't usually like going in this direction, but somebody may have discovered the other person is interested in exploring a relationship with another option. By the way, only take what resonates. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is probably not a reading for you. So please don't force anything to fit. I wouldn't be telling you anything shocking. It would just be things you kind of already know that exist in your world. So you have extremism. Mercury in Scorpio. Yeah, I'm getting a sense of there's some arguments, disagreements going on. Somebody discovering a letter, or is this guy forcing this woman to read a letter? And there's an angry bird with a crown. Somebody's acting in an extreme manner, very negatively, it looks like, to some kind of circumstance. Manipulation. Okay, more Scorpio energy. Jupiter in Scorpio, or is that Saturn? I'm not as familiar with these oracle cards as I should be, sorry. Revenge. Oh dear, what's going on? Okay, all Scorpio energy. By the way, I am a Scorpio and I don't associate these terms with me or my sign. It's kind of unfair if you ask me. Extremism, manipulation, and revenge. Okay, so there seems to be an argument of some kind going on over a lover, and you're deciding it's unfair and you're tired of it and you're ending it, it looks like in July. to spit it out really quickly, I think that's might be what's going on. You know, I swear I keep trying to give you guys positive messages and they come out full of drama, and at least it's interesting, right? But I'm sorry if you're going through this. If this is true, I do encourage you to move on, because it is not a fair situation and it's leading to toxic behaviors, manipulation, and revenge. Those are no good, of course. So I'm going to end the reading here. I do hope this brought you insight in some way. Stick around for the exciting career portion of this reading if you dare. Okay, we are back with the career portion of the reading. Full disclosure, I had to take a little break after that first portion. It got a little intense. It's actually a full day later when I'm recording this. I had to go to work, but also that was heavy energy there. Okay, let's see what's coming in July for Virgo's career. Okay, it'll probably get better from here. It does. Okay. So we have 9 of Swords, 10 of Cups, and 7 of Wands. Page of Swords in reverse, 6 of Pentacles, 6 of Cups. So the good news is you arrive at a more positive situation than we started. There's a lot of worry and sleepless nights, waking up maybe in the middle of the night, worrying about a lot of things. But there's actually this sense of harmony coming in. But why is 7 of Wands here? Could it be that we're resisting something that at the same time brings us joy and we think it could be good for us, but also causes us a lot of anxiety? Maybe there's something here you think is too good to be true, and in some kind of way, even if you're conscious of it or not, you might be blocking it. It causes you distress. Maybe you're going to have some sleepless nights over something actually very positive that you might be skeptical of. Yes, it's giving this energy of like, this might be too good to be true. But I think it is true, because if we're ending at the 6 of Cups, it's finding that sense of kinship, camaraderie in a career setting. It's finding someone who feels familiar, like you belong somewhere, as if you've known them a long time. And 6 of Pentacles, it's another, like, this is very fair and balanced in a day-to-day setting. Page of Swords in reverse is maybe lacking a little insight into a situation. There's something here happening mentally. You might benefit from exploring what's happening in your mind that's telling you that something is off when perhaps it isn't. With the Page of Swords in reverse underneath the 9 of Swords, I'm interpreting this as worry about not fitting in somehow. It could also be not having enough information that's causing you more distress because you're jumping to conclusions. I think you might be worried, jumping to conclusions, that something's off with the opportunity, but it looks like it's actually a very harmonious and fair and balanced opportunity. Seven of Wands could also indicate you might have to fight for it, fight for the position, stand your ground. You're like determined to get the job or keep the job, it looks like. But this also implies a level of confidence that's kind of counteracting this worried feeling. I do like that the Ten of Cups is following the Nine of Swords. It's like, oh, relief, a lot of worry over nothing, like waking up from a bad dream to find the beauty in the world. And then again, we arrive in a comfortable, very fair, balanced situation. Hopefully this means you're getting along with your coworkers. There are instances where you have to stand up for yourself, but it looks like you're listened to in a very fair way. There might be a little bit of gossip in the workplace or speculation happening over here. But it looks like you can rest assured knowing that things actually are being weighed equally and people are being considered fairly. I'm going to get some more clarifying cards. The Empress. Creativity. Appreciating nature. I don't know if not necessarily nature, but making things beautiful. Magician in reverse. A little bit of struggle around bringing things into reality. There seems to be a lot of beautiful vision and a bit of a hang up around bringing that vision to life, manifesting your vision. And Ten of Pentacles. Again, these are the best tens ever. So some of my favorite cards, rather. So Ten of Pentacles is another overarching, harmonious community that you're involved in. It's also a good card for financial abundance. Magician reversed, you can interpret multiple ways, but between the Empress and the Ten of Pentacles, I'm feeling like it's a very creative energy with very big goals in mind. And it's almost like you're creating incredible things, but for some reason you want it to be even more substantial. Like your goals are out in space and by comparison to these magnificent goals, what you're creating doesn't seem big enough for you in some way, but it's actually still incredible. Okay, and then the Knight of Swords came out in reverse. So it's kind of jumping to conclusions again, rushing things, maybe just slow down a little bit. There's a little bit of fear here of being criticized. I think somebody here is a perfectionist. And the criticism actually isn't coming from anybody but yourself, the voices inside your head, is at least the impression I'm getting. Like the criticism is happening on an internal level, not an external level. By outside appearances, things are marvelous. So I think just be aware that the negative energy, if you're experiencing that, is actually coming from within. Like, don't cut an opportunity off because it's not perfect, is kind of the impression I'm getting. Like, you might be quick to say no to something or try to correct something that is already pretty well refined and is already very good. The example I'm getting is like if you made a beautiful song, or you wrote a beautiful song and everybody else is like, oh, this is incredible, the melody's gorgeous and it all kind of flows, and you decide you're not going to put it out there because it's not exactly the concept you thought it would, or you're overthinking it in a way that prohibits you from sharing your vision. So then nobody gets to hear any of it. So I respect an artist who wouldn't put out music or art or whatever it is you're working on out into the world until it's exactly your vision, but it looks like it's already at a very high level, and it's kind of a shame to not share it with the world. You might think of it as kind of depriving someone from looking at a beautiful garden just because there might be like one weed or like one dead flower in the midst of 1,000 beautiful flowers. Okay, and last thing, we're just going to do a couple of oracle cards. Just what we need. Drama. Just kidding, we don't need drama. Mercury in Leo. I mean, you could work in a dramatic field, like you might be an actor, work in theater. These fell on the floor. Resourcefulness and secrets. I'm not sure I'm gonna take those because they fell on the floor. Okay. Organization. That's reminding me of these 10s here. It's part of a broader community, your organization. And defense. I'm not sure how that comes into play. It's very similar to 7 of Wands. There's a sense of defensiveness. Like you feel like you're a little on guard for some reason. Why is that? I think for some of you, you might have this concept that's ready to go and you have to fight to get it out there. Inspiration. Yeah, whatever you're creating, whatever you're working on is very inspirational. And you're worried about other people acknowledging that, it looks like. So what happens here? Will this see the light of day? One more card of more of a conclusion. Patience. So it's not going to give us an answer right now, but I think if you wait it out, looks like it's not going to happen in July, but it's well on its way. July might be a time of stating your case, of kind of presenting your material or your art or your project or whatever it is, and kind of waiting for it to be picked up or for it to see the light of day. It looks like what you're working on is very high quality, and the stress is coming from not knowing if it'll actually get out there. So it looks like in time, it will come to light. You will have your efforts pay off, but you have to wait for it. Beyond July, it looks like. Okay, I think that's all I have for the career portion of the Virgo reading. I do hope this brought you some help in some way, or clarity, or a little bit of insight. If you'd like to book a personal reading with me, the link is in the description box. And I hope to see you at the next reading. Thank you for being here.